Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Midnight's Edge in the morning on this lovely Wednesday. So it's already Hump Day, as Tom likes to put it. Tom, by the way, is at the dentist right now, so he probably won't be joining us today. But that's okay because I have someone else here. Joining me as the wingman of today is Culture Casino. Welcome, my friend. How's it going?
Greetings, Andre. Yeah, it's going really well. I actually love Wednesdays. Wednesdays are a busy day, so I like staying busy all day. So I'm very excited, and yeah, lots of news out there to talk about today. So.
Yeah, there is indeed. And we have some great movies to talk about as well, which is such a nice change compared to all of the usual craziness. Of course, there's plenty craziness to discuss as well. And joining us to discuss all of that is our very good friend, Chris Gore. Welcome. How's it going? You're muted, Chris.
Oh, I'm muted. Sorry, Andre. Hey, Culture, how's it going?
Great.
Can I just say hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Great to talk to you this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. I would sing the good morning song, but I'm not in good voice today. So.
Awesome.
Well, if you should feel up for it,
I don't.
you'd be most welcome.
Yeah, I
can't. Well, of course, you already had like your own daily news update, which was fantastic today, as it always was. We have a culture raid here a few minutes ago with Trav 101 coming from there, so that's brilliant. We also have Ardan Blades. We have Horseradish Power here. Six is here in the house. Olaf van S is here, who was also in the member stream yesterday, which was great fun for all. DS Ford is here. Fat Elvis is here and says, "Unleash the Northman." And yeah, we'll be talking about that and other things today because Chris, of course, has seen the Northman, and I look forward to hearing more about that. But I've also seen Sonic the Hedgehog. So we can talk a little bit about that. And as I said, there's other cool stuff happening as well. We also have D. Bud Martin here. Jet Sparks 373 is here. Will Bloom is here. Matthew W is here. Liger fan is here. Now, a Liger, is that like the big one or the small one? Because like when you mix a tiger and a lion, you either get like a liger or a tiglian or something like that. Is that what that name is?
That's also a reference to Napoleon Dynamite because he was drawing ligers in like his note. So I think that's what he's referencing. I could be wrong.
There you go.
That movie.
Yeah. And then we also have a super chat starting us off today. And yeah, I think the first topic of today is given. Michael Miller asks, can we discuss the desperation of Star Trek? And so, yeah, we have Picard going right now. Nobody cares, even though there was like a trailer for season 3, was it not? It was geo-block, and I could not be asked to turn on my GPS to see it. And at the same time, you have Chris Pine saying what the executives there haven't understood, that Star Trek maybe isn't this huge blockbuster thing, and they just need to adjust the budget thereafter. And you have Strange New Worlds coming out, and it's not looking too hot, is it? Chris, before we move on to other things, what's your thought on the desperation of Star Trek?
I haven't seen I saw the first 4 episodes of Star Trek Discovery and didn't care. It just didn't engage me enough to want to continue watching it. And I have watched so many entertaining videos of people dissecting Star Trek and people who I trust, like Robert Meyer Burnett, talking about how just Star Trek has lost his way, some Red Letter Media videos. And it's just, whenever I see scenes from it, I just cringe. I can't believe it's gone this far. Like, they're doing this plot in Picard season 2 where they go back to effectively the year 2024 on Earth. And a woman comments that it just seems like, men traded in their hoods for a suit. I mean, the whole thing is about, white supremacy in the year 2024. And it's just so overt and on the nose with all of its critique of culture and and I don't know, it just seems weird. It's just poorly written is what it is. I mean, from a production value standpoint, everything looks great. I mean, it's like, film quality effects, but oh my God, like the writing is just out the window. I think the reason is that just like current day writers don't know how to do subtext at all. They don't know how to weave something into a story.
Well, that's problematic, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. But even that, the original Star Trek series had messages, but it wasn't on the nose and in your face and lecturing, and that's all they know how to do. And it doesn't make for entertaining television. I don't feel smarter or enlightened, having seen that stuff. It looks like
I feel dumber and brainwashed, but
yeah, precisely. Yeah. Not a fan.
Also, joining us is Tom. I thought that you would still be at the dentist, but here you are.
No, you didn't read me right. I have an hour before the dentist. I'll be leaving about the same time as Chris.
Oh, okay.
All right. But yeah, this the Strange New Worlds just looks like the Orville to me. They're like, well, we'll try and make this one fun, but it seems like they've just been throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, and it doesn't work. And it doesn't, when you look back at some of the, best of Star Trek: The Next Generation and or, the original series, there's what's the best of any of the new Trek? No one can point to it. And the, people I trust who talk about it, and, I'm talking to them right now, no one has liked it. No one has liked it. I don't know anyone who actually has told me that they're a fan of the new Star Trek. So there you go.
I'm sure there must be some, but I think they're probably few and far between.
Yeah, true.
And for the record, Chris, in the near future, Polly, myself, and a couple other choice human beings, Captain Trek and Steven Deleted Scenes, are watching the first season of Picard, or I should say the word suffering, in kind of a watch, party format that might end up somewhere.
Oh God,
that you might be able to watch.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be like, and you get to see it with others and share the pain. Nothing is better than that, is it?
No. Interestingly enough, you can find a couple of decent moments in the first episode of Picard, but as Andre was saying, then finding something within that is few and far between afterwards. So we'll see. We'll see how we get through season 1. I have a feeling people will enjoy our suffering. So
this is often the way. Yeah. But yeah, since Star Trek is just suffering, let's move on here. Also on this Dash Attack wonder, what's this rumor about Kurt being gay? Well, yeah, he's bi apparently, and of course in this world of Star Trek, everyone is baseline bi. Like that is the standard, that everyone is bi in this universe, and then of course you have like some minorities that I may identify as straight or something like that. But Kurt then is on the bi-leaning gay side of the neutral, non-binary spectrum that everyone is on in the world of Star Trek Discovery. So yeah, that's what that is about.
So what we're saying is the indoctrination has worked.
Evidently.
In the future. Oh my God. That's fucking terrible. And if they make Kirk like that, fuck that show. I'm sorry for my language. That's just angering to me. You take one of the greatest male, testosterone driven characters in, television and cinema history, and you do that. That's fucking awful. And
that's why they would do it. That's the reason.
No, I'm really annoyed, and I hope
they hate Kirk,
and everyone
can't stand him.
Yeah, I hate him.
Yeah, I'm just pissed off.
And don't worry about swearing on this show, man.
Oh yeah, good. Thanks, Tom.
This is the kind of show where you see shit like this.
Richard!
That's great.
Oh, that's Will Smith's wish fulfillment right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
never
Things have
get
not
tired of
gone
that
great for
culture.
him in the week since, though. And I mean, now apparently his agent and representatives are talking about dumping him.
Oh, Will Smith? Oh, wow.
Yeah. And even Jada threw him under the bus.
He should throw her under a bus.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Did you hear what Ricky Gervais said?
No.
I did. Yeah.
He's hilarious. He goes, I woke up and I got a bunch of these texts like, poor Chris, poor Chris. I'm like, Chris, who? And then I saw the clip and I'm like, oh, fuck. He's like, well, that was pretty stupid. I'd have done a better joke like that than that. It'd been like some about her boyfriend or something like that.
They said I wouldn't make a joke about her hair. I would have made a joke about her boyfriend.
That's it. Yes. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. It's like, oh.
Exactly.
And that, folks, is why he will not host the Oscars.
Although he really should.
Oh, of course, if they wanted to fix it.
Yeah.
If they wanted to fix the Oscars, a couple things. One, bring back the categories that they now do off camera, do them
right.
Off stage. That is. Second thing is reduce the number of, when you look at the runtime of the show, those musical numbers are the thing that killed it. It killed it. There were too many musical numbers and tribute to old, Oscar winning films. It was ridiculous. So, I mean, there's so much they could do and save running time and get like a host that will eviscerate Hollywood and say, this is what you get. You want to make this show relevant again. You better start having a sense of humor about yourself. Bring in Ricky Gervais or bring in Dave Chappelle or someone like that and just come in guns blazing, because not one person has talked about the comedy of the three female hosts. That was forgettable.
That's because it wasn't comedy.
Yeah, they brought three not funny people up on
Didn't
stage.
Schumer get busted for stealing another joke during the show? But let's not talk about the Oscars, please.
Yeah, no, I think we're pretty good and well done with that topic by now.
Nicholas Horton sent us a super sticker. I can't see what it is offhand.
But thanks in either event. That is much appreciated. Yeah. And also it's appreciated if you all can smack that like button like Will Smith does Chris Rock. That would be most helpful. And also help share this stream. We'd greatly appreciate that too. And with that, were there any other topics that we wanted to discuss before we get into the Northman on that topic?
We got a couple of super chats here.
For $2. Hail, Midnight Z, mods and chat. Looking forward to Northman. Yeah, I can't wait for that movie. And Chris has already seen it. Lucky bastard.
I was freaking out because when I first popped in here, I thought that's what Chris was talking about. I'm like, no, the Northman can't be that bad. And then I realized it's Star Trek.
It's I mean, we can get right into it if you like.
We'll wait a few more minutes for a few more people to slide in here.
Right.
STR Red Wolf says, "Hail, Andre, Tom, Chris, and Culture. I wonder what would be the best alcohol to imbibe while in said Star Trek watch party. Something with a very, very low. No, you want to go with a low alcohol count because you're going to be drinking a lot.
Well, then you're probably not absinthe.
Or if you're like Andre and you just want to get it over with quickly.
Now we're back on the absinthe.
Exactly.
I went into
you
it.
Would know more than me, Culture.
Yeah, I went into it not drinking anything, and I might reevaluate that position going forward.
I say now you're a full blown alcoholic because of it. And you're gonna lose your wife and your house.
This glass of wine isn't big enough.
No, but you know what I did watch last night? Some actual real Trek. I watched the director's edition of
the first film.
Trek, yeah,
it's
not in HDR on Amazon for some reason. It's in UHD, but not HDR. It's kind of a crappy presentation. But
really,
yeah. Speaking of Star Trek, Michael Miller says STP season 2 is still going. They announced TNG casts for season 3.
Yeah.
I don't know what he means by STP season 2 is still. Oh, yeah. That's because as we told you guys, they filmed season 2 and 3 back to back, so Amazon can get it over with.
Yeah. Just get
that, and they got to get it done before they lose Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. I mean, the clock's ticking. He's not getting any younger.
No.
Yeah, and as far as the bringing the old cast back, talk about stunt casting and a half. And I think the big part was they left out Wesley on purpose so that people would watch. Jason Gray sends us a thumbs up Sheba Dog sticker. Thank you so much for that.
Wait a sec, Tom. Is that true? So doesn't he host a show that's like a post show or after show for Picard?
Yeah, he'll probably show up. He just wasn't in the
list
of names.
He's not in the show. He has to be in the show.
He probably will pop up, but he wasn't in the list of names they broadcast in the new trailer yesterday.
I hope he shows up with like an eye patch and a robot arm. I think that would be, like he's actually lived a life.
Could he be a villain? I would accept him as a villain.
Better yet, if Patrick Stewart went, it's too bad Wesley had to go back to his home planet.
Yeah, exactly.
If he's there, can we get to see Worf smack him like Will Smith smacked Chris Rock? Because that'd be worth it.
Oh, please.
Oh, no.
I am not a merry man.
Yeah, I mean, you know that Worf has wanted that ever since he got introduced.
Right. Oh, Lord. And that and everybody else. Robert says that the Northman should be renamed Abs.
Yeah, man. Skarsgård.
For sure. Yeah. I'll tell you.
Oof.
Ripped abs. Gundam Warrior says, glad you are covering the Northman. We need to be highlighting new movies. Why I'm trying to plug the bad guys. I'm burnt out on daily use.
Burnt out.
Burnt.
Yeah. That's what I thought he meant too. Yeah, after the fact.
On daily eulogies. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I didn't even bother watching. I forgot about Moon Knight last night. I got sucked into Star Trek instead.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that too.
Moon Knight was on.
Yeah.
On paper.
On paper.
I don't see any evidence of it in practice, but apparently it must have been on.
Well, Mr. H just put up his review, so it had to have happened. Ray Young 74 said the best thing about New Trek is the opening credits. It's less, it's time to turn off and watch the blank screen much more. Even the credits suck. Like Discovery's credits are pretentiously bad and boring. Picard barely has any opening credits.
It's a weird format with their credits for Picard.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, I feel like the use of the various themes or the derivative use of the themes from TNG and other things in the trailer that we just saw for the new show, Brave New Worlds or whatever it is, Strange New Worlds. I think they're trying to member-berry people back into something because they keep telling us, no, we're going back to form. This is going to be more like the utopian Star Trek that you are all looking for, and I don't see
Culture, they've been telling us that for the last 5 years.
Well, they gave us Rick and Morty, like terrible derivative badness.
Well, that was their actual answer to Orville.
It wasn't a good answer.
So this kid who made the Family Guy show made a Star Trek. Well, we'll get one of the Rick and Morty guys to come in and make a Star Trek then. That's what the kids like nowadays.
Yeah, just dumb.
They fit perfectly together. Rave Girl says, hi, guys. Do you think Paramount realized they screwed up Star Trek? They are at the point of no return at this point. Honestly, Paramount has so many problems. Star Trek is like way down on the list of their problems. Like, in fact, this morning, I don't remember exactly how it works out. It looks like they're trying to leverage the company for about $1 billion. Yeah, well,
they've been on a funding raise for a while. I think a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, they were talking about a funding raise.
They basically restructured the company again with this new renaming. I didn't get a chance to read the whole story, but it looks like they're trying to do $1 billion debt move.
Yeah.
Basically, they are for sale, but they ain't telling nobody.
Yeah.
On top of it, Paramount is a fucking mess. And the last thing they have on their mind right now is probably Star Trek.
They have bigger concerns than that right now. And someone else who has fairly big concerns. Let's get into that.
Let's get into Northman
before we get into the movies. It's the Warner side of things because people are being fired left and right over there right now. It's like the Bloodbath Part 2 that Zaslav has initiated. Some very high-profile people are already out the door, and we'll get back to those. But Tom, I sent you a link here because they have another worry, because they have a movie that has Ezra Miller in it. Namely,
this hit Rolling Stone. I heard about this.
Yeah.
Holy shit, this was real? I wasn't sure.
Bring it up.
I have a suspicion that the name of that movie is going to change to Flash Intervention.
Well, as I pointed out the other day, you have a situation where you can flashpoint this motherfucker out of his existence now.
Yeah.
As it is right now, the movie is flashpointing Superman out of existence. It's not flashpointing Batman out of existence, but they still have a year before it opens, and I would not be surprised if they, in that time frame, find a way to flashpoint the Flash himself out of existence. Certainly this iteration of him, because this guy is a liability.
I was told from one of my sources that there was an emergency meeting about this, and I was like, yeah, right. He's too big of a part of the gay BCs to get fired.
Well, it would turn out that your source was entirely accurate, because now Rolling Stone is reporting the same thing, that Ezra Miller arrest prompts emergency Warner Brothers meeting about Star's future, which tells me there's a very different Warner that's in the making. Chris, what's your take on this?
Well, I mean, he's gone. I mean, the Warner's is not going to work with him after these projects. I mean, that's it. Unless there's some major, I'm going to therapy, I'm going to, whatever his problems are, he comes out and makes a statement. But the fact that so many, not just bizarre behavior, but, threatening to murder a couple, he's just unhinged. He's clearly on drugs or suffering from some form of mental illness. That's 100% clear. And that there's been no statement, not from his official handlers, from Warner or from Ezra, makes it just go, I mean, would anyone care to see a movie that he's the primary part of? I don't care. So obviously if seeing that Flash movie, I care about 89 Batman, Michael Keaton. That's who I care about. Right. And any other sort of, other DC characters I'll care about, but it looks like a hot mess. It looks like a hot mess. And the fact that they've said nothing is concerning, because nearly every single other person who acts in this way, there's some sort of official statement. There's something. My feeling is he's got something, right? Excuse me. We heard all this stuff with Ray Fisher, and then nothing really tangible came out other than someone was mean to him. So there was nothing really substantial that came from that. It's like, okay, is there more to this? Did Ezra Miller move up the ranks in Hollywood the way that many have, and that he has?
Why does that keep coming up?
I'm not being specific.
Sorry, no, but it's a totally different conversation that I can't even reference. Sorry.
Exactly, but I'm just saying that this is a disaster. He's done after the Flash, and that's it. I mean, this is embarrassing. They should be embarrassed for sure.
Ezra basically said, "Hey, Amber, hold my beer."
Right.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I was discussing this I can talk a little bit when they mentioned it. Because I'm like, yeah, I can see that if it's true. Because look, him getting in trouble with the law for drinking and disorderly conduct is one thing. Breaking into a person's house and threatening to bury them,
right?
You can't just let that go. Like this has hit a brick wall at this point.
Yeah. Well,
and then you come to find out that he had been arrested 10 fucking times in the last, like, what was it, a couple months?
Really?
In Hawaii? Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he's not
arrested. Sorry, but sorry, I have to rephrase that. He'd had the cops called on him 10 times.
I
don't know how many times he actually wound up getting arrested out of all those times, but most of them were disorderly conduct and/or drunken behavior type calls. Yeah.
Well, and again, I mean, he did a social media post just a few weeks ago, like threatening people, like in a state. You know, whether or not those people are good people or not. He like literally put
Are we
out.
talking about an association with a specific bill?
No, well, this is.
Or he was just going off, just how crazy like.
He was like something in North Carolina. He was just,
wow. Okay.
yeah. It's just he's insane. And I mean, the amount of mental illness, somebody said in the chat, and they're not wrong. The amount of mental illness in Hollywood is not.
Well, clearly he's got some issues, and I think Chris is right. Like, I think the only course of action he has here, aside from career over, is get some help, try to make some kind of a comeback. But at this point, like, yeah, Rob, I think this guy is fired. I think that's what this meeting was about, to be honest with you. Because as we see here, just from the headline, an insider says Miller had frequent meltdowns during the production last year on The Flash and described the actor as losing it.
Yeah. There's nothing good there. So, but I think Chris is right. I don't see him working at Warner Discovery, not for Zaslav, who's going to be trying to clean up that.
Well, the hypocrisy is if they do deal with him, or they have dealt with him for so long, and
Twice
at the same time,
he's in the
crazy idea. They should make Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill, who has been nothing but professional and is a friend to fans. And why don't they just do that? That seems, I mean, it's even possible that new management.
Well, the people that blocked it are out the door now.
Well, most of them. There's still a few more that need to. That's the problem. We were talking about this last night, is that Cavill has been painted as difficult by Warner Brothers, which I have a hard time believing. To me,
I think that someone is difficult, but I think rather it was those that were there at Warner that projected that onto him when they were difficult themselves. Because they are the ones that keep surrounding themselves with these crazies.
Yep.
I mean, they didn't want to work with him, but they want to work with this guy. They want to work with Amber for many, many projects. I mean, in the Flash movie, this dude right here, he apparently has 3 roles. He doesn't just play the Flash, but he plays like 3 different versions of the Flash.
Yeah.
And he's also saddled in that new Dumbledore film that dropped.
Yeah, he's also in that movie they got coming out. Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah, well, they'll kill him off. I mean, it's look, they're not unless there is some major turnaround. Going to rehab, whatever, an apology to everyone that was involved in all these altercations in Hawaii, like unless something like that happens, he's done. And I think the only thing maybe keeping him around is the fact that he may have incriminating information about the behavior of some of the people he's worked with in Hollywood, which would not surprise me because, that kind of thing happens. So there you are.
Well, this event they're insinuating started at the premiere of that latest Harry Potter movie. Like they're saying, basically, he went from the premiere, didn't sleep, in some point in between there went to the Oscars, and then got arrested a couple hours after the Oscars, basically, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, after he flew back to Hawaii. It's just crazy, man. This guy is just bananas.
So he was probably even drinking on the plane on top of it.
But he's a huge liability for Warner. I mean, he really is. I mean,
the guy needs help. Let's be real. That's the first and foremost thing.
Yeah. I mean, and you can't even, he doesn't possess the same kind of talent as a Robert Downey Jr., right? But we're watching essentially the same kind of a meltdown here, I think.
Worse, if you ask me. I don't remember Robert going in and threatening to kill nobody.
No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Robert Downey Jr.'s behavior was more along the lines of he was hurting himself. In effect,
exactly. And that's
And
that's exactly what I was saying, Chris, to begin with, is all this other stuff, most of it outside of the choking of the lady and stuff like that, most of it you could perceive it as stuff that Ezra is doing to himself, right? Like it's self-destructive. Once you break into somebody's house and threaten to fucking kill them, you have stepped over a line that is,
right.
You can't really go back from.
No, well, Robert. Exactly. I mean, Robert did break into somebody's house, but he
fell asleep in their kid's bed. And that was the most hilarious thing that happened. It's sad but hilarious.
Yeah, he fell asleep. I know, it's so funny.
They had the 911 call playing on TV and shit. It's like 911. It's like, could you possibly send like the police over? Is there a problem, sir? Yeah. Well, there's not a problem. Robert Downey Jr. sleeping in my kid's bed. It's like, is he being belligerent? No, he's just sleeping.
Oh, it's crazy. And
but as I joke,
some random people, or
he just went into
their
their house and just went to bed, went in their kid's bed and just went to bed. He was not.
So this was some random people or someone that he knew.
Yeah.
No, just random people.
Oh my God.
And like the guy was really cool on the phone. He was all like, yeah, he's not hurting nobody. He's just sleeping. But as I joke all the time, he went from falling asleep in kids' beds to winding up on the covers of kids' beds with Iron Man. So like he made a huge leap from that. But like, I don't know if there's coming. That's the thing. You didn't have Robert Downey Jr. going, if you don't let me sleep in the kid's bed, I'm going to fucking kill you. Like that's the difference here is like, you got Ezra choking a bitch. Right. You got him threatening to kill a couple. You have him on, how many day binge at this point and all these other things going on. I mean, this kid is more than self-destructive at this point.
He's just he's bad news, man. But that's okay. I mean, we've seen it before. I'm not
trying to paint him as a bad guy. He does need help. That's the main thing.
No, you're not wrong. But until he can demonstrate he can be a good guy, I'm not going to
exactly. That's the problem.
Sing his praises. So. Yeah, I mean, and again, he had a bright future to begin with. I mean, one of the best roles he had was on television. He was in that show Royal Pains.
I don't know if it was his neighbor's house, D-Bud. I'm not sure on that because I don't think the individuals knew him.
Yeah, but he's a real. I mean, he had an opportunity to be good, and there's a lot to be said for he has information on others. But I know we want to move on, so.
Because actually we ain't got Chris for much longer, and we want to hear what he has to say about the Northman.
Yeah, so no spoilers, Chris, because obviously none of us have seen it yet.
Okay,
I'll be seeing in exactly 1 week is when I'll have the opportunity to see it.
Well, I can't wait to hear what you think, Andre. You in particular, I really want to hear your review. I will just say this in non-spoiler fashion. And what I found most surprising about the movie is we've seen the trailer. I probably watched that trailer 50 times. It's so, it's so epic in scale, right? Mm-hmm. The movie, it's over 2 hours, but I'll say this, everything you see in the trailer, most of what you see in the trailer is only from the first third of the movie.
Oh, wow.
I love that because last time I remember that happening was when The Dark Knight came out. And I remember seeing The Dark Knight and thinking like, oh my God, like when you get to like the midway point of the movie, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen because these are all scenes that were not seen in any trailers, not on television, not at the theater, like nothing. And so it really was like, you're going in this dangerous place where unfortunately, nearly every movie we see now, the trailer gives up everything, including events that happen in the third act, except not the outcome of the third act, which we can already guess for the most part.
Unless it's Lionsgate in the early to mid 2000s, then they were quite fond of showing the death of the villain in trailers and everything because that's what they did then.
Well, so once you get to about the first third of the movie, it's like, holy crap, it becomes like, it's like you're in uncharted territory. And I will say this broadly about things. It's brutal. And it's not as, if you're familiar with Robert Eggers' work, and I strongly recommend you see The Witch. I mean, there are aspects of it that feel a lot like The Witch. And the second half of the film ends up becoming even more of a horror film in the sense that obviously, there's going to be violence. This violence is not sugar-coated. It's horrific things happen. And it's gory. It's brutal and gory. And I would assume is sort of, like what fighting like that would be like. So, and it just like once you get to this, you think the movie's going in a certain direction, which the trailer kind of sets you up for, and it goes in another way that is unexpected, and it ends up being, I would describe some of the things that happen in the second half as like something like the best moments of Game of Thrones. Some of the best moments of Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin can't just kill somebody. It's got to be in the most humiliating or horrific way, or like like there's something, not just gore, because I think anybody can do something that's gory and grotesque and brutal, but it's in a psychologically affecting way that's makes it, even the events occurring, even more disturbing. And so there are a lot of moments like that in Game of Thrones, and that's that's the place that the Northman goes, if I might say. And so I don't want to get too specific. I don't want to get too specific and talk about the story in the second half, because it's not in the trailer at all. It's, if I start talking about that, you've seen the trailer. It's like, you're going to get everything in the trailer and more, and then a whole second half that's not where you thought it was going. And yeah, I really, now some people are calling it a masterpiece. I would not call it necessarily a masterpiece, but it's probably one of my favorite movies I've seen this year, right up there with RRR. But I've talked about that enough. But it's God, I want to talk to someone else who's seen it, so I can't wait.
Well, we'll be here next week and we'll talk about it. So I'm looking
I don't
forward to that.
I mean, if you want to ask me questions about it, but I'm really
We do have one recurring question in the chat that everyone wants to know. It was first asked by Andre Enrico, who says, is the movie woke or not?
Oh, not one shred. There's no female character that kind of takes center stage. There's no like, I mean, I would say in the sense that, like, Game of Thrones has strong female characters, but they're strong in the sense of their femininity and using a different kind of power. And that's even mentioned in the movie. There's a scene where they talk about like how men and women have a different kind of power. With men, it's like physical power and physical strength and whatever. And women have a different way of, using a power, so to speak. So there's not one woke thing in the entire film. Zero. Yeah, I don't know. I went to the bathroom once, so I might have missed that, but yeah, nothing. And that was so refreshing that there was nothing there. So I think it deserves your support just for that alone. Yeah. So.
And then Mags, one of our mods and valued community members, says, so Grits, what's your rating out of 10?
Now, this is going to be, first of all, I hate doing this because, I've only seen the movie once. I really feel like giving it a second viewing, it would be more accurate, but I'd say somewhere between an 8 and a 9, but I would need to see it a second time. Minimally an 8 and then a 9, but like I need to see it again to really solidify that ranking, but right in that range, I would say. And like I say, one of my favorite movies this year, right? I mean, this year has been sort of meh. There's so many movies that have come out, like, that are very forgettable that have come out. We could talk about Ambulance. That's kind of, forgettable. It's a Michael Bay movie that's more of a ride than a movie and defies logic. And the heist in the beginning made no sense whatsoever. Was it fun to watch? Sure. Would I see it again? No. And there's woke aspects in that movie, which I'm really surprised coming from Michael Bay. Some annoyingly woke shit, which sounds like a studio note.
Really? So Michael Bay production went woke?
Yeah, but there's like one character that kind of embodies like, calling out white people. And it's just like, can we just have an action movie and have fun with this? And like, it's yeah. So Ambulance, I don't even know if you care to talk about it. I think we can pass.
I think you said just about everything.
Yeah,
but for the Northman, just have to do this because I think it's clear.
Chris recommends.
100% recommend. And here's my concern about the movie. Two things. One, it's very dark, and by dark I mean, in both senses of the word. It's dark in terms of the storytelling. This follows the pathway of the hero's journey, but in unexpected ways, which is good. But it's also dark in terms of the way it's photographed. There are aspects of it that are very dark. It's nearly overcast the entire film, and it's very dark. Now the dark is taken advantage of. Like, this is a part of the story is when you're in the dark, the dark is your friend, right? The dark is a way, to, you can be stealthy in the dark and accomplish things. So, and I also think that, I just wonder how a mainstream audience is going to react to this movie. It is Robert Eggers' most accessible film, right? I don't think that The Lighthouse was necessarily accessible. It was a weird art house movie, the sort of borderline like David Lynchian type horror film. So, and then The Witch is a straight up horror film, psychological horror. And this is, there are a couple really weird things that are kind of funny that happen in the Northman that I don't want to give away, but I just wonder.
I have one question about it,
please,
because this is one thing that I have considered too, because it's Eggers, and with Eggers, you know that you are going to get something truly unique.
Yes,
you know it's going to be dark. What you don't know if it's going to be dark and go a relatively realistic route like The Witch did, or if it's going to go in a more surreal, this whole thing could be a drink-induced fantasy angle like he did with The Lighthouse. Now, a decade ago, there came out another Viking movie with Mats Mikkelsen called Valhalla Rising, written and directed by Danish director Niklas Winding Refn. Have you seen this movie? And if you have, how would it compare? Because that is also a movie that looked really, really exciting from the trailers, and everyone was super hyped for it. And then they got to see the movie, and it was this art house fare that was quickly forgotten because the movie was just too weird for most people. Well, one of my worries is that the Northman, because of Eggers, can veer in that direction. Does it do that? Does it become like too art housey?
I am a terrible person to ask this question because I like art housey stuff. Like, I'm not afraid of it. But I do think that there's enough of your, violence and intrigue and I'm talking around things that I think it'll keep a traditional, a normal mainstream audience engaged. Right, especially
because Valhalla Rising, it had gore, it had all of those good things, but at the same time, it was just too out there. So those who were into art house, into Refn and stuff like that, they freaking loved it. But for everyone else, it was just like too weird.
I don't think it's too art house. I don't think it's too art house at all. So, but again, I'm a bad person to gauge this because I see stuff like that and it just seems normal to me because that's the kind of stuff I like. But I am concerned, but I will say this, because audiences have now been sort of, they've been trained by seeing things like Game of Thrones, right? They saw Game of Thrones and like, okay, we like, this is, because of that, I think the Northman could break through, but I don't know. I mean, the violence it's brutal. I mean, in all the best ways. And there's some great moments of humor too that are not anything, there's nothing quippy about it or sort of stupid humor like we've gotten used to in Marvel movies, which is almost like roll your eyes at this point. It's so overused inappropriately, but like humor that's organic to the story and to the events that are happening. And Skarsgård, holy shit, like he is, I mean, like, and I will say this, there's a healthy dose of nudity in this movie. So, in unexpected ways. So,
there you go. Well, that's a good selling point.
Yeah. I don't know.
Depending on whose nudity, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's, again, I think it's too early to get into a conversation about the whole story. I would love to, once you've seen it, Andre, and once we can get into non-spoiler, talk to you about that, last half of the movie, which is, it's like they didn't do the trailer for the last half of the movie because it goes in an unexpected direction, in a way that I think makes the movie better because, I don't want to say, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I don't want to hear anything more. But we had another question here from Trav101 who wonders, which is better, Chris, Conan or the Northman?
Well, I will say this. I really love the original Conan. And like it's personally, I mean, I saw that movie when I was a kid in the theater. It's brutal when Conan's mother's like head drops, right?
Well,
And there's
that's a
lots of
memorable scene.
yeah, there's lots of gore in it that is not necessarily on-screen gore, but like implied, which I think is awesome. I think James Earl Jones, like seeing him on, I mean, it's the voice of Darth Vader, you know, and now we're seeing him in, and he's great. James Earl Jones is just so good in that film. You know, it's too bad he wasn't in more films as a movie villain. I mean, he's so fantastic, but I don't know. And plus the score, I think the music is in Conan is better. Basil Polidorus, that score is so fantastic. Unfortunately, just because I'm probably going to say I like Conan better, and it's really like and especially if you've seen some of like like it's brutal. Like I mean they're
I
asking.
would say that Conan would set a really, really high bar. In many ways, it's the ultimate Viking movie, even though it's not the Viking movie.
Right.
So I would be shocked if this suddenly was better than a
Yeah.
40-year-old movie that has stood the test of time, the way that Conan has. So that's not a point against the movie at all.
Yeah, I don't think it's better than Conan. I think Conan is just like and I really wished that when they had made the other Conan movies that they had stuck to the same tone, because the tone of the first Conan movie is very serious. Then it gets just way too comical in that second movie. I really didn't like that. But the Northman, yeah, I mean Conan edges it out, and also I've only seen the Northman once. I've seen Conan, several times in the theater, had it on VHS, bought it on standard def DVD, bought the digital you know what I mean? Like I've bought that movie in many forms.
We'll be getting it again once the 4K version comes. Like I can't wait for
Yes.
that.
Yeah, that will be awesome. Unfortunately, I got to run, gentlemen. I'd love to talk to you about the Ambulance movie.
As do I. So yeah. So
God, I'm bummed out.
Quickly though, did you enjoy the Ambulance?
Here's the thing. It was so, I mean, the audience was laughing during many points where
or at the movie.
At the movie.
That's not good.
The events are so stupid. You're like, they're driving around in an ambulance in LA all day. At some point you're gonna run out of gas, right? But also geez, like the heist was just from the very beginning. There's a heist that's this is all in the trailer, right? There's a heist that they do, and they're not taking precautions. It's like they don't care about their identities, and it makes no sense to me at all. And it like, okay, and there are just so many lapses in logic. It's a bad script is what it is. And then there's see ya, Tom, take care. Hey,
Tom
Mike.
leaves and Mike enters. Hey, Mike.
Hi. That Chris and Tom had to leave, so I thought I'd come give some backup.
Oh, that's great. But I'll just say Ambulance it's stupid, so it's a Michael Bay movie, right? It's dumb. It defies logic. Did I have fun watching it? Yeah, it's a ride more than a movie, because for the majority of the film, you are in the ambulance or, being chased by a helicopter. It's the ultimate, like, if you live in LA, when you see those chase things happening on live TV, I watch those. I'm sorry, when they happen and they're following, and you want to know what happens at the end. You want to know, do they get away? Like, how do they and sometimes they do get away, right? Like they'll it has happened.
Just go someplace the cops can't. That's how you get out of it. Yeah,
exactly. Like 99% of the time they're caught, and but so it's basically Freeway Chase the movie in an ambulance and all sorts of horrific events, but they just become comical because they're so over the top. It's just it's stupid and ridiculous, and many sort of lapses in logic where you're like, well, that doesn't make sense in real life. So I said, walking out of the theater, I said I'm more prone to believe that sentient robots from another galaxy came to Earth and beat the crap out of each other and turned into trucks than I am to believe a lot of the things I'm supposed to believe in Ambulance.
Speaking of which, Chris, did you see the article where Michael Bay says he should have listened to Spielberg to stop making Transformers movies?
No, I didn't
Yeah.
see that. But yeah, like, well, they all got dumb and forgettable, right? Like, I like the first Transformers movie. That was fine. It's a, you know, boy in his car, boy in his dog story, and I thought that was great. And I haven't really cared much about anything Transformers post that first film, you know. So
neither has anyone else up until Bumblebee, and everyone wrote that one off. But that incredibly turned out to be a pretty good movie, actually the best one in the franchise.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it wasn't Bay.
Yeah, well, it focused on the aspects of what made the first film, you know, enjoyable, which is, you know, a boy and his dog type story, right? Like back to that, which is simple. But Transformers movies make money, man. They make money. I mean, so
At
Michael
least they
Bay-
used to, up to the audience caught up with the fact that there's no story here. It
yeah,
makes no
precisely.
sense.
So,
And
well,
then they stopped making money.
exactly. But gentlemen, I got to take off, but it's a pleasure talking to you. Andre, Culture, Mike, thank you. And Andre, I cannot wait to hear what you think of the Northman, but I think you may end up if people want spoilers, then I guess we could go there. My feeling is it's way better to go in spoiler free. And until the movie opens in wide release, I'm really reluctant to talk about the last half of the movie.
Yeah,
Because,
again, I haven't seen it. I don't want to be spoiled.
yes, you're
I
much
don't want it either.
And God, like, you know, just like I got to give kudos to the studio for showing restraint and saying, okay, most of what you're seeing in this trailer is from the first third.
Wow.
And that's it. And I know, for example, that Christopher Nolan, when they did the trailers for the Dark Knight trilogy, actually for all the Dark Knight films, he is very specific about what footage can and cannot be used. Right. So that's why I think the Dark Knight was so effective, is we didn't know what was going to happen in the second half of the movie. And I think that's a winning strategy, and I wish more studios would do it. So there you go. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Thank you so
Before
much.
you go, real quick, Daikaiju Gamer wonders for $2. Hey Chris, is the Northman similar to Outlaw King?
You know what's so funny? I haven't seen Outlaw King, so I don't know. But thank you, Daikaichu Gamer.
Yeah, thanks for the question.
Thank you for the question. I haven't seen Outlaw King, but now I want to.
Yeah.
So I'll look that up. But go see a movie called RRR. That is an Indian, it's epic, 3 hours, Indian action movie fantasy that is over the top, amazing. And I have to say this, it's my favorite movie this year. Okay. So
Tom also says before you leave, I love you, Chris. I want to be you when I grow up.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. Enjoy your time at the dentist. All right, take care, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Thanks again.
Bye, Chris.
Later. Bye.
Excellent. All right. We have a couple of super chats here. So let's go through those. Then we can talk some Sonic afterwards, at least real quick, because I saw that one yesterday.
Yes.
Mags says that they hate Kirk because they hate Shatner. And yeah, that's a good point. But I think it goes both ways. I also think that they hate Shatner because they hate Kirk. So it might be a little bit of like the chicken and the egg question here. Yeah.
Absolute hate, and they always have.
Yeah. And Captain Trek says Wesley better not be in that show. F Wesley.
I'm with you.
And just F the actor playing him too.
Yeah.
John Apocalypse says for £1.79, Flash is sounding like the episode 9 of comic book movies. You know what? I think that movie is going to be subject to so many more reshoots that there will be Rise of Skywalker, or rather Rise of Palpatine comparisons aplenty by the time that's said and done. When they're having disaster movies about Ezra Miller, I would not be surprised if they mandate some reshoots in there. So yeah, it'll be real interesting to see what's going to happen with that. I look forward to following it. Matthew W says for $2, I think Fantastic Beasts is done after this movie. Honestly, it should have been done after the previous one when it still had Johnny Depp. I mean, I like Mads Mikkelsen and all, but not fan of that recasting.
I just real quick, I don't know how they'll justify making another one because the projections for this film globally are not good.
Well, this might be the end of the series, so Matthew W., you may very well be right. It's done after this one. And then Horseradish Power says for £5, how to make the Flash awesome. Remove Ezra Miller and replace with Sonic the Hedgehog. And shove in Kick-Ass, because why not at this stage? Yeah, I'd absolutely take Sonic the Hedgehog in the DC universe instead of Ezra Miller. But that's me. Mr. Grant Gregory says for $2 Australian, hail panel, hope all is well, loving the content. Oh, thank you. There's plenty more of it coming. Next one is actually going to be my Sonic review, which is in the making right now.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then this says, who saw Arcane and what do you think of it?
Me.
I did not see Arcane, so I have no opinion. But Mike, what did you think?
I saw the whole thing twice.
Oh, that's
which
promising.
Really incredibly unusual for me, because I'm not an anime guy. I did not play any of the video games. I was not. I mean, although I'm a gamer, this was not my universe. And I just couldn't. I just thought it was great. I thought it was the animation fantastic, the storytelling fantastic. The only thing that irritated me is maybe it's because I'm a dad of a 9-year-old and everything going on. I'm a little hypersensitive. You know, I want to see more positive, strong male characters in all of my entertainment, because I just feel like there's just not a lot. And I probably wouldn't care as much if I wasn't the son of a 9-year-old. But but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I was people in Midnight Edge actually encouraged me to see it. I don't know if it was this, but I wasn't going to watch it because I'm not an anime guy. So highly recommended, and I look forward to hopefully continuing the storytelling.
Yeah, all right. And Cultured, how about you? You haven't seen it?
I have not. It's on my list of things to make my way into seeing, because everybody has said so much positive about it. So I feel like I will definitely give it a shot. This.
Yeah. All right. And then we have a new member, Who Dares Wins, with that lovely icon right there. It's a channel member. That's fantastic. Look forward to having you on future live streams or members only streams at any rate. And Glade Riven says for $5, the definition of a good Transformers movie is stuff that turns into robots that blow stuff up. Expecting more will always lead to disappointment. Well, I slightly disagree with that. When you just look into, if you just look at the animated movie and see the mythology that is behind there, there's so much more you can do it than just mindless explosions and robot parts flying around. But hey, that's me. I guess I have too high standards for something like that. As I said, I went to see Sonic yesterday. Who's excited for that?
I am also excited for that. I'm excited for, this is the cool thing. We're now talking about things I'm excited about. I'm excited to see the Northman, right? Can't wait to go see that. Going to make time to do that. I can't wait to see Sonic 2. Everything I've heard is very positive, and I think you may have seen it.
That is indeed correct. I have seen it. I saw it yesterday.
I have my ticket for Friday afternoon.
Awesome.
So I can't wait.
Yeah. My review is in the editing right now, so I don't want to spoil too much, but I will say this. It's fantastic.
Oh!
Can't wait.
Oh!
Can't wait.
Oh, and when Andre says fantastic, well, those are some heavy words from you.
Yeah, I mean, normally, he exhibits the fact that, he's from a country where they tear out your heart when you're like 6, 7 years old.
I don't recall. We suppressed that. But everyone is a little bit dead inside afterwards. It's our own bris, for lack of better words. It was everything that the first movie was, and then some. In fact, it's one of the most perfect sequels I have ever seen.
Wow.
Wow. That sounds good. And it sets up Paramount for at least a win once, because they have this Knuckles TV show that's supposed to be coming out here well, I mean, obviously Paramount Plus show that's coming out here in the near future as well. So that sounds good.
Yeah.
Can I ask a couple quick non-spoiler questions?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Was there consistency between movies 1 to 2 in terms of where the characters and the story goes? Like did it align well? Like because a lot of times when you go from the 1 to 2 in a sequel, there's a little bit of disjointedness to it versus it being like smooth, like a smooth sequel. So how would you say? What would you say?
There's nothing disjointed here at all.
Wow, that's
not in the slightest. I mean, that's like it, because typically when you have like a sequel, it's going to be something from left field to start a new story, right? There's none of that here. This is just perfectly built upon what was established in the first movie.
Cool. And did the graphics hold up as well as they were in the first movie? Because I thought they did a great job of how it was shot, how it looked, and everything.
Yeah, I have absolutely no complaints. I have no complaints at all. So yeah, no, I'm really happy with the visuals. I don't really remember the score so much, but the acting, the score, the story.
Hey, Andre, you're roboting and you're tunneling with your mic. You're popping in and out really bad.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh wait, there you go. You're fixed.
Back again. Perfect. Yeah, no, everything is just great. I have actually no complaints.
Wow, man, that is really good news.
I mean, I'm not saying that is like the Godfather or anything, because it's obviously a children's movie. But for a children's movie, I have no complaints. I mean, there are things that I wanted differently in the first movie, but here I have no complaints.
Would you describe it? Let me ask you this question. Would you say that it's more of a video game adaptation or more of a... See, the thing about Arcane is that, from what I've been told, is that it stands on its own. Is this something that stands on its own so that you don't have to be a big Sega Sonic fan? Like, can my buddy...
No, you don't have to be at all.
That's what I wanted to ask about.
Have played the game,
because my kid has never
played the game. There's going to be so much more fun for it in you.
Ooh, this is good news.
I mean, I was pleasantly surprised at all of the references to the games. That's one thing that I felt there wasn't enough of in the first movie, and they make up for it here.
Cool. There's a question in the audience they threw out there. Are there after credit scenes or mid credit scenes?
I did not stay till the very end. There is one like mid kind of like post credit scene. Yeah, there is one.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, nowadays I just kind of just plan to stay through the credits just in case, because, with these types of movies that are destined to have sequels, I just fully anticipate they'll do something midway. I mean, Marvel started us on this trend. So now you suffer 20 minutes of credits so you can see the 30 seconds of whatever at the end, but might be worth it. According to Horseradish Power, it says one end credit scene. So, okay. All right.
Yeah, good then, because that's what I gambled that there's not going to be anything more after it. I won't spoil what it was like. Absolutely no spoilers here, because I know that very few will have had the movie to see it for themselves. But yeah, and if you have heard some rumors, if you think there's some shady stuff going on in the post-credit scene, yes, there is. But yeah, it's brilliant movie. I had so much fun with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm like I said, I've got 2 movies to see. That is very uplifting, and one of them is going to obviously be a surprise. So I was thinking that the quality of Sonic would fall in the sequel, but I'm glad that it didn't. I'm glad it elevated.
No, actually, it didn't. One of the points that I make in my review, which may be released sooner rather than later, is that this movie does the same thing that the games did 30 years ago, where Sonic 2 was an improvement on Sonic 1. Well, that's true for the movies as well.
I'm so excited though, man. Northman.
So we're gonna have a good time like Ghostbusters, right? And culture.
Yeah.
That, and we got the April 22nd, right? For Chris Gordon saw that, so that's gonna be good.
Yeah.
We already in March and April culture. Andre, do you think we already have more things to look forward to than we did? I think than we did all last year. I mean, last year didn't really look promising till the end of the year.
We do. Over the course of like the next few weeks, we have more to look forward to than all of last year. Now, of course, my worry is that all the things we have to look forward to over the next month are the only good things we have to look forward to in the rest of the year as well. But we have a good month in front of us.
Well, that's where I'm going to take some issue with my good friend and my brother Tom, because I am looking forward to the Top Gun movie.
Yeah, so am I. I hope it'll turn out great.
Yeah. So are you looking forward to that? I am. I'm super duper. I can't wait.
I just have to see the original one first because I've
What?
never seen the original Top Gun.
Andre, no.
Yeah.
No,
You know-
Andre, you haven't seen the original one?
Nope.
Oh, my
Wow.
heart is breaking right now.
Okay, just pay really close attention. Mad Mardigan's favorite scene comes up really early in the film.
Is this like the super gay one with Tom
Yeah.
Cruise? And yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. The guys are oiled up, shirtless and jeans playing volleyball. So you're gonna love that scene.
Yeah, I look forward to it because here's like the thing that there are some movies that everyone should have seen that I just never got around to. They were always there. I knew these are must-watch movies, but I haven't seen all of them. I'm not going to say the rest of them because I'd break all your hearts. So I'll just make it my business to see them before you find out. But I admit that Top Gun is one that I have not seen.
Yeah.
Well,
I have seen the parodies though. I've seen like Hot Shots.
Hot Shots Part
Shots, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That was brilliant.
that's what concerns me most, is that because I think it's one of those things that I wouldn't say Top Gun stands up the test of time, because I'll be interested to see what your reaction is, because I've always held the feeling, I've always held the belief that the people that appreciate Top Gun are the people that saw it multiple times back when it came out, and maybe 5 or 10 years after that. Because I think to watch it now, it'll be like, huh? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I still love it, but I don't know if it's one of the things that I go back to watch again over and over again. But I am looking forward to it, but it's more of a nostalgia, fanberry, memberberry kind of dynamic. So I'm afraid that when you're going to watch the original Top Gun, which I do love, you're going to be like, what is this crap?
Well, I'm aware that it's a product of its time, and like some movies that everyone loves, they're a product of their time, and like most products, they do have a use-by date. And some movies from the 80s and before are starting to hit that use-by date, and it'll be interesting to see how this one is. So yeah, I'll make a point of watching the original before the sequel. But that being said, I do hope that the sequel is going to be really, really good. I absolutely hope so. I hope so for the fans, that it's going to be everything Ghostbusters Afterlife and Cobra Kai was. That's my hope for the fans and for movies as a whole.
We have a lot to look forward to. I think Mike's right. I think it's been a while since we could look forward to stuff that was going to be good. So
yeah, I agree completely. I mean, there's just too much bad stuff that we just have to appreciate the good stuff that is coming and really support it, talk it up, and back it with our wallets, because that is how you send the signal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they already know Sonic's a win, so they just kind of let it run the way it was running. The Northman's going to be something that we haven't seen for a long time, and so I think that's going to be a win for the audience too, because it's not a superhero film. It's not a comic book movie. I think there are going to be a lot of people really stoked. So,
yeah. So yeah. So we have some great movies to look forward to. Were there any other news that stood out to you, Cultured?
Oh, I'm still hesitantly looking forward to, and this is my sentiment on this changes, like it seems like weekly, but the Doctor Strange film, which I think got kicked. Of course, somebody already mentioned Top Gun 2. I'm looking forward to, which obviously got kicked to later. Um, I'm not. It's hard for me to say anymore. Because to be honest with you, Andre, I was looking forward to Morbius, right? And then everything
not
came
anymore,
out.
are you?
No, everything came out so negative.
You haven't seen it yet, have you?
No. I'm kind of worried about seeing it. Like it's like that moment where like I want to like wait for streaming. You know, this might be when I just go, I'm gonna see this when it's streaming.
It's honestly worth it just to wait for the streaming. There's nothing here that means you have to see it on the big screen.
Right. You know, and I'm what, maybe a week away from being able to see the Batman on HBO Max. Is that right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So I think that I'll take a look at it there, and I'll make a decision if I missed out on something in the theater. But again, I mean, I listen like Chris. Chris talks about the same things I do, which is, if I'm listening to somebody that I respect, that I think has similar taste to me, that has very similar perspectives when it comes to film, and movie going. Yeah, I'm absolutely gonna go and see something. But if somebody tells me that it's bad, I mean, and I trust them, I usually don't. I don't have enough time as it is, so I'm not going to cut out some time to go see something that I'm not going to be satisfied with. I'm just done with that. That type of entertainment consumption, I think most of the audience is done with. So,
yeah. And then we have a couple of super chats here, and we have a couple of member chats as well. Let's begin with the super chats. Martin Allen says for $5. Evening, guys. Can someone tell me who now owns Warner Media? I thought AT&T owns majority stake, just letting Discovery run with it. What's the deal? Culture, you know the deal.
I do, yeah. And Martin, I answered you actually in a chat before you super chatted this. You asked this question as well. Right now, okay, so this is a spinoff company. Discovery, or Warner Brothers Discovery, is a spinoff. It was done in the form of a reverse Morris trust, which means AT&T still retains about 70% of the stock for the new entity. Essentially, it's a merger. It's not quite a merger of equals, but they're bringing these two entities together. And essentially, David Zaslav's been given the keys to the kingdom. AT&T realized they're not an entertainment company; they're a communications company. So it's better off for them to own a major piece of something else. And David Zaslav's a proven factor, proven commodity. And I think that you'll see. I think you'll see that reflected. Again, that was all driven by one of the big stockholders, John Malone, to get this deal done. And the way it was spun out was definitely, influenced by him. He's also the person that's pushing very hard for major reforms over at CNN. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, and I have to say that it's pretty big of a company like AT&T to just realize, you know what? This wasn't entirely the right move for us. We're not going to lose our investment and sell it off completely, but we're going to hand it off to someone who are better fit to run this than we are. Yeah. And I say kudos, respect. You know what that is called? That's called cutting your losses. Yeah. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in realizing that what you bit over, you can't chew. And rather than spit it all out and reject it, you found some other way to make it work. And that's what they've done here. Kudos. And I'm excited for the opportunities that this presents, especially with the moves that David Zaslav has made already. Because as we learned yesterday, and there will be a video coming about this, he has fired Ann Sarnoff. And it couldn't have happened to a better executive. Now, if you all think back about a year or so to when the Snyder Cut was released, you'll recall that in either Variety or the Hollywood Reporter, one of those, there was a Warner executive who came out and she first said, like, this was like 2 days after the release or something, they didn't have time to look at any numbers. But this executive, and this was Ann Sarnoff, made it clear it didn't matter. how the thing performed. They had already made up their mind, and they were going to go in a different, far woker direction, emphasizing diversity, de-emphasizing fidelity to the source material, because that's difficult. And she was also very disappointed in the fans for behaving so appallingly as they did when in getting the Snyder Cut, like daring to challenge the executives at Warner. Who does something like that? The pleb. She didn't use those exact words, but that's exactly what she meant. And now she's out of Warner Media.
And she is kind of, if you've, paid attention, especially in the coverage between Andre and Tom, she's kind of a sacred cow in Hollywood. She comes from
she's Hollywood royalty. I mean, everyone above a certain level in Hollywood is aristocracy, but then you have the outright royalty. And Anne Sarnoff is married in to Hollywood royalty. And that's the beauty with someone coming from a little bit outside. They don't necessarily care about that, and they kicked her to the curb, even though she's Queen Anne Sarnoff, who goes to the same parties as Kathleen Kennedy and stuff like that. They kicked her straight to the curb.
That's good news, though. Look, it's in again. I mean, the bodies haven't stopped dropping at Warner.
I think they've only just started.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the big ones leave. Obviously, Jason Kilar, he went over the fence first, is the description, right? But he was on his way out. He knew it. People suspected he was going to leave right when the deal closed. David Zaslav was trying to say he might stay longer, but I mean, Jason's got other stuff to do. He's going to go be a hatchet man somewhere else, likely. And you're gonna.
He has a name for it.
He does. You're gonna see Hamada on the way out the door. Emmerich might find his way out. There's a lot of people that are old. They have the wrong mindset to do what needs to be done in the future. So we'll see. But I those would be other names I see would go bye-bye.
I mean, for me, my reaction is a bit more emotional, without getting into a debate here this morning about the Snyderverse or whether the movies were any good or any of that stuff.
Right.
I don't want to get into that. But what I will say is that I'm glad she's gone. I definitely was always have been one of the huge Snyderverse folks.
Yeah.
And her comments and her attitude and that of her fellow colleagues, I found it to be offensive. Unlike these Hollywood executives, they're paid to produce things that we fans are supposed to like. We, people like me, people like Culture, people like Andre, we are not paid. Yet it is our money, our dollars, our time, our fandom, our passion. Whether you hate the Snyderverse or you love the Snyderverse, the point of the matter is that the stewards of these companies have to come to the realization that it's about us and it's not about them.
Yeah. And again, I mean, it comes down to the conversation we always have. Vote with your wallets. If something's good, support it. If it's not good, don't support it. Sonic 2 sounds good. I'm going to support it. Northman sounds great. I'm excited. I'm going to go see it. I'm going to support it. The Batman, I elected not to, because it sounded like a fair to middling film at best. And, I'm not going to support subpar average content anymore. Just not.
Yeah. Now with the Batman, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. When the first half of the movie, when you watch it in your own home on streaming, you're going to be like, why the hell did I not see this in theaters? This is amazing. The bastards, they misled me. And then after the halfway, 2/3 point, you're going to be like, oh, that's why. I'm glad I didn't support this.
See?
So I know exactly how your reaction is going to be.
And again, it comes down to, I trust the people that I interact with on a regular basis. And, so I'm sure I'm going to come to the realization Andre just described. Can't wait to reach that conclusion. Let's just put it that way.
I can't wait to hear you beat it back at me. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to go down.
Yeah.
But I said that we have a couple of member chats.
Oh.
So I would like to say thanks to all of the mods who have been collecting them, because they see them in the screen. And ironically, we actually don't see them in our own software here, so I can't bring them up on screen. But Sean Carter, who has been a member for 7 months, he says, I turn off Trek faster than I used to turn off Showtime at the Apollo after an SNL episode.
Wow. That's good. Yeah, I understand that.
Ooh.
I understand that sentiment. Wow.
Ooh.
And then I think that was the one. I think that's the one. And the rest is Who Dares Wins, who became a Midnighter. And we already addressed that, so I think that was that. I mean, it's so fun when Tom is here and he can just sort the stuff out. But we'll manage as good.
Well, I've been
as
keeping
we
track
can.
of him since I got here, so
Yeah, perfect. And then back to the super chats. Next one we have is Nicholas Horton, who says for £5, Hail Andre and panelists. I've booked my ticket for Sonic 2, going Friday to watch it. Excellent. I hope that you will be satisfied with it. Then we have Brightest Day, who says, I don't care what anyone says. You guys are great. Oh, well, thank you. We do try.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it, man. Your sport's awesome, dude. Yeah.
And those who say otherwise, they typically have some agenda behind it. But it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, well, Brightest Day is pretty cool too. Also has a channel, so thanks.
Yeah, everyone check that out. And then Scott Kristen says wonders for $5. Andre, have you seen the series Ragnarok on Netflix? I've watched the show a couple of times and enjoyed it, but I'm curious what you think of it. And honestly, I couldn't tell you because I haven't seen it. I saw the trailer and I thought it looked stupid as hell. So I put it to the absolute rock bottom of my must-watch list. Maybe it's great. Maybe I was premature in my judgment, but I only have so much time for like things that I can watch.
Yep.
So things that I have to prioritize first are things I need to review, and I like only second, third down the line are things that I want to watch myself. And Ragnarok fits in there and pretty low on the list, so it's going to be a while before I get to that story. Then we have Michael Rod, who says for $5, I would like to recommend a movie called A Nefarious Plot, starring Sean Patrick Flannery, coming out in late 2022. All right, I'm not familiar with this movie myself, but it appears you are. Did you have some involvement with it? And I hope it's good. So yeah, there you have a recommendation from Michael Rad. And then we have the CO92, who says for $10, thank you so much. Let's be honest, the only reason Ann Sarnoff got the CEO position in the first place is because she is friends with J.J. Abrams' wife, Katie McGrath. This is actually this sounds more plausible than I would like it to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how hopeful is it, or how positive is it that she was then kicked to the curb, even though she's friends with the J.J. Abrams' wife? To me, that suggests that not only has Ann Sarnoff lost some steam in Hollywood, J.J. Abrams must have as well, because remember, he had like this $500 million deal with the DC, or with Warner, and nothing's come out of it. I mean, his Black Superman project is going nowhere. The only thing that is coming, apparently, is his Black Southeast Asian John Constantine project. That apparently has some motion, but who knows? Maybe Zaslav will stop that thing too.
I just feel like it's pretty clear that J.J. Abrams and crew has lost a lot of steam across the board. His acolytes have lost a lot of steam. The J.J. Abrams wife, who was at the spearhead of the Time's Up / Me Too / all those types of things, kind of leveraged that to move pieces around on the board in Hollywood, and none of those are producing fruit that's good for any of these studios.
And they're going to burn out. I agree with you completely, Culture. And I'm going to say the burnout, the peak of their mountain happened, when they thought that it was when they made this big announcement, right? And we all just went collectively, oh, right. Now you have their acolytes out there doing shit. Like, for example, like Cameron talked about extensively on the show, we've got their Amazon thing coming out. We've seen what, because all of these people are connected back to JJ one way or the other, right? One way or another, the Bad Robot, Secret Hideout, JJ, all these people, they're all connected to the same train wreck. They're all poisonous fruits of a poisonous tree, and they're
all robots, every single one of them.
Exactly. And so what's going to happen now, as we have, you've got Halo right now, which is an absolute train wreck. It's an absolute train wreck. Star Trek train wreck. Picard's a train wreck. And now we've got the Amazon train wreck. I really feel, and I hope, and I feel, and I think that we're finally going to burn out of all these a-holes sometime in the next 18 to 24 months. And then as we start to have little flashes of stars that are, that we can look forward to, these other train wrecks and fires are probably hopefully going to die out and burn out. And the fact that JJ has lost that kind of steam, like Andre, you just talked about, like Culture just talked about, that is a good sign for the rest of us.
Yeah.
It's the best of sign.
And look, it just, that was a bad deal for Warner. It would have been better if they had just said, you know what, go back, because Apple was offering him the same deal. Apple can afford to cough up a $500 million first look deal, right? I just feel like that was just one of the bad deals on the way out the door, that we have for Warner. So we'll see.
Probably it certainly wasn't their best deal, and it's funny how many of these mega deals just don't work out the way that is intended. But with this one, I have to say I'm glad. This is just looking.
This was the point in time when Warner was signing deals with BLM activists, founder people as well, first look deals with them to make children's programming. So lots of bad decisions got made with Ann Sarnoff and these other folks attached. So there you are.
Yeah. And with that, just going to check that there are no more super chats here. No, actually, we do have one more. Gabriel Quiroga says for $5, Hail Midnight's Edge. So excited for Sonic and seeing Tails and Knuckles. Robotnik looks great and hoping to see Super Sonic, Mecha Sonic, and the Death Egg soon. I won't spoil anything, but I will say you have something to look forward to. Not all of the things, but you get some of what you're looking for. I was going to say what.
Now, we recently heard, and this is an interesting question for Andre because he saw the film already. We recently heard that Jim Carrey's done acting, retiring.
Yeah.
Is there room for a sequel with Carrey attached, or could they move on without Carrey attached? Or
I hope that they are going to roll up so many trucks of cash to his doorway that he can't refuse coming back.
That's all I needed to hear. All right, very good. I'm so excited now.
Whether it's an entertainer or whether it's a sports hero, you can. To me, when they announce they're retired and done, you know what? The lack of attention and the opportunity to make money are incredibly powerful forces.
Yeah. And I know that Jim Carrey, a lot of people are citing his mental health and stuff like that as, maybe, playing a factor in his decision.
I'm sure that playing Robotnik is good therapy for him.
Okay, well, I can't deny that. I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's weird. Just be excited for a kid's movie.
It is weird. And I was thinking that as I was in the theater, this is a kid's movie. I shouldn't be enjoying it this much. Which only goes to show that they're doing something right.
Well, and again, this is why Disney was so popular for so long. All of their films, even their animated features, since even back in the day when Walt created the first,
especially back in the day when Walt created the first, I think you mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's probably a better way to say it. And you're right. It's just, it appealed to everybody. It had broad appeal. There were themes in there for kids and adults alike, and that's how you're supposed to make good quality entertainment, right? You can dive more deeply into some more adult themes and get a different rating on your film, but the broadest appeal gives you the broadest audience. You get all four. You get all four sectors. That's what you want. You want all four. You don't want one. You don't want two. You want all four if you can get it. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And with that, since we're caught up on super chats, member chats, and what have you not, I think we're going to call it the day. So I would like to say thanks to Chris Core for joining us. Of course, thank you, Culture. Love having you here. Thank you, Mike, for stepping in when Tom had to leave. And everyone, check back before long. Then my review for Sonic 2 is going to be up. And also, we're probably going to have some videos about what's going on with Discovery and everything like that tomorrow. Red Sonja retrospective coming. And also on Friday on our live show. Then very happy to introduce Paul Chato to Midnight's Edge. You know, his YouTube channel.
I can't wait for that.
He's coming on Friday, and we can't wait for it. We had a little chat with him here on Monday. That was fantastic. So we're so looking forward to having him on Friday.
Cool. Can't wait.
So everyone go and check out his channel.
And everybody, on your way out the door, please hit the like button if you haven't had a chance to. It'll really help out Andre, really help out Tom, really help out the channel.
Yeah, please.
Yes, indeed. And also, of course, check out Cultured Casino and everyone else. Link is, of course, as usual in the description. And check out Chato as well, so you know how much you have to look forward to on Friday. And with that, as soon as I can find them, it will be time for some koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain. No fucks given, koala.